kind of want to start us off with your character Mira. Like, I feel like she's a really refreshingly badass superhero, kind of, that we've been waiting for. And kind of, are you quite excited about playing kind of something a bit different to that damsel in distress narrative?
I get sick of the damsel in distress narrative as much as anyone. Maybe considering this is my line of work, perhaps more. But I think I do get relatively as bored with it as an audience member does. The average viewer doesn't want to see the same formulaic approach that's outdated and two-dimensional, represents women in a very narrow light. It seems boring and uncompelling for not just a female audience, but for men as well.
Yeah.
As everybody is more interesting when they're complex or more human, and that's why we tell stories about people that, you know, we're reminded of in some way. And Mira's no exception. She's a badass superhero in her own right, and I love that.
At the end of the film, you're sort of stood with Nicole Kidman's character, your two women together. And why do you think it's important for us at this time to be kind of really supporting other women and speaking out for each other?
I think it's unfortunate often in the entertainment industry especially, although it is not limited to the entertainment industry, it permeates in all aspects of society and industries. But particularly in my industry, women are unfortunately often pinned against each other. They're pitted against each other in some make-believe contest. There's the younger woman and then the one who was replaced, or there's this blonde and brunette, or there's this, you know, it's so pedantic and limiting because, you know, we are connected not just by our shared humanity, but anybody who identifies as a woman understands a certain way of living through a certain filter, and that filter is important to recognize so that we can change it, so that we can challenge it, so that we can test its integrity, and that we can apply in the future lenses that are perhaps more fortified or of different colors for our daughters and our sisters moving forward. We don't want things to stay the same. Do you want things to stay the same? Not me. Thank you. I think the fact that we can share this knowledge, the fact that so many women have said either time's up or enough is enough or here, me too, or me too. It's just, there's a reason we're all saying the same thing. We don't want things to stay the same.
Throughout the film, she kind of repeatedly actually saves Aquaman, and she's really kind of, I feel like they're a real equal team. What do you want to see from female superheroes moving forward? More of that kind of equality going on?
You know, I am so excited that I get to play a character like this that represents a more modern approach to not just storytelling, but to female characters. She's empowered. She has her own drive. She's proactive. She has her own superpowers. She's really her own. She's her own character, and that seems like a low bar to set if I'm just speaking, you know, about anything else. But let's face it, in the entertainment industry, and there's such a dearth of representation. I think it's worth saying. I feel incredibly lucky that I worked with filmmakers and a studio that wanted to really answer the demands that we see in the streets in all industries and all communities, where we're saying we want to see better representations of women, more fleshed out representations that more accurately represent the nuanced and varied aspects of the female experience, whatever that means to us.
I feel like as much as Mira is changing the narrative of female superheroes, Aquaman's character is quite different in a way for typical male superheroes. Are you quite excited to see a change in what can sometimes be a kind of toxic masculinity within kind of superhero-style genres?
I'm especially happy to be in this movie because it does push gender norms and stereotypes forward. It does represent a more accurate, more nuanced display of the human experience, not just a female experience, not just masculinity. And I don't want to call either an expression of either gender toxic.
Yeah.
We all know that there can be toxicity wherever you look in any form. I will say, though, I love that Aquaman does have feelings. He does have flaws.
Mira's a really kind of reckless character. She's really bold. She throws herself out of the plane. Kind of, why do you think it's important for women to kind of be kind of bolder and more outspoken and kind of not be afraid to, I guess, be as reckless as Mira is?
Mira's not reckless at all, I would argue. She throws herself out of the plane. It looks reckless to others because they haven't caught up to the fact that she understands that there's a reason to do that. And I don't want to give anything away, but she throws herself out of the plane because she knows.
Yeah.
Everyone else calls her reckless because they don't know. And I understand that feeling very well.